Hey friend, if you've ever started out on a health kick and tried to lose a few pounds and then suddenly feel like you're in food prison, you are not alone. So maybe you've skipped the party or passed on dessert or just stayed home to avoid any kind of temptation. And that can feel like being on a health journey means that you have to cut out all the joy, all the pleasure together. But here's the truth. Being health conscious doesn't mean living without pleasure. And I'm here today to remind you that yes, we can indulge and still honor our health. Let's start by understanding something really important about how we're wired, because I feel like once we understand how our brain works, we can know how to manage it. So, first thing is, we are all human, and our primal brain is actually designed to seek pleasure, to avoid pain, and to choose the path that requires the least amount of resistance or energy. That's biology. That's just how things are wired for us as humans. So, it makes sense that the comfort foods that we seek, the ones that are sweet, the creamy treats, why they feel so magnetic. They give us this quick release of dopamine, a nice dopamine hit, and the primal brain just loves that. But just because our reptilian brain wants something doesn't mean that we need to give it the keys so that it can drive the bus. You can truly enjoy foods for pleasure with no guilt required. So, what's important is that we understand how these foods actually impact our biology so that we can make choices that work with our body and not against it. So, most comfort foods, when we think about, sweet, starchy, processed carbohydrates, or loaded with dairy, they aren't exactly the best friends for our hormones, for our gut, our digestion, or inflammation levels, or even our waistline. But they can trigger what I call a metabolic storm. So, increasing blood sugar levels, spiking and crashing, affecting insulin. And then, of course, the ripple effect of all our hormones. And that can be really tough to recover from. So, there's something that I think can make a really big difference when we look at indulgences and treats. The first thing is to eat those kinds of foods after you have a balanced meal. When you're already nourished, your body with protein, fats, and carbohydrates. I talk about this much deeper in the video that I just did about macros. If you want to check that out, please feel free to refer to that. When we have a balanced meal, this actually buffers and helps stabilize our blood sugar and also calm the insulin response. So feel free to dive into the macros video to understand a little bit more deeper what I'm talking about. And the best advice that I can give you when it comes to indulging, to having treats, and how we can still feel really good in our body while we seek out these kind of pleasure foods is first to do it mindfully. So, not when you are on autopilot or when your primal brain is just having a tantrum or a little hissy fit and demanding a quick fix or a treat. The more you give into those temptations in the moments, those impulse cravings, the stronger that pattern becomes, and the harder it is to break that habit loop. The second thing is to plan these treats in advance. This is where our executive brain thrives and it shines. This is the part of us that is always looking out for our best interest, for our highest, most evolved future self. So she loves structure, this part of our brain, this executive part of our brain, and she's here to help you feel in charge and not give in to the mercy of these immediate or urgent kind of cravings. So, why this planning trick really works, and it's not so much a trick, it is really biology. If you think about the same way as when you plan a vacation, the vacation isn't just being there. It's the anticipation, the buildup, the planning, the looking forward to, the imagining. So you get to enjoy the vacation far before you actually get to the vacation, and then you take those memories with you. So it's the lead up, it's the during, and it's also the after. And we can treat treats the same way. So why this planning idea actually works where it doesn't feel restrictive. First of all, you're able to have an indulgence without feeling, like you're in that food jail that we talked about. So, planning consciously is a choice, and it allows us not to give in, as I said, and cave into the moment to that craving that's happening where it feels very urgent from the primal part of the brain that's just seeking that dopamine hit. And this takes us out of this kind of guilt and shame or rebel loop. And it allows us to stop feeling like you can't control yourself and start feeling like you are the one in charge. And then we also layer in this idea of pleasure. We get to anticipate the joy that's about to come. So we have a dopamine release as we look forward to what is coming, the anticipation of pleasure, of joy. So, like the vacation, we get to enjoy it. If we're planning something for Saturday and today is Wednesday, we get to enjoy it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as we look forward to it. And then, of course, there's that in the moment. So, actually savoring the actual experience, the pleasure, the reward without any guilt, without any shame, and then it doesn't leave you with any regret. Whereas the unplanned treats, they often rob you of both. They feel impulsive, it may feel rushed, it may feel like it's got to be secret, and then it also often comes wrapped in regret. The other aspect is we are coming at this when we're planning from a luxury type of mindset versus scarcity, right? So impulsive eating comes from, not having enough, or I better get it now while I can, or I deserve this reward for whatever reason. I worked really hard. I did a hard thing. So this comes from a place of perhaps lack or scarcity. And then this planning idea, it kind of flips it to abundance. Yes, we get to enjoy it. I know that I'm going to be having this on Saturday night. So there's no fear that's grabbing onto this idea or mental kind of gymnastics or drama that needs to happen. So this can make it so much easier to say no in the moment when you have something that's actually planned, so that you're not feeling like you're losing out on the treat. You're just simply waiting for it at an anticipated or a future date. So, if you want to plan like a boss and plan these treats, pick something that you truly love, like high quality. That's not just, what's in the cupboard and you're just going to kind of settle for. Put it on the calendar, get excited about it, give it a time, a place. If you're going to a restaurant, look at the menu in advance, pick it out what you're going to have, get excited about it, give your brain something to hang on to and to look forward to. And then, if you like, you can create an even deeper ritual or meaning to the event. Create a little ceremony around it, a moment to savor, whether that's, if you're dining at home, lighting a candle, or going to a special restaurant, pairing it up with music that you love, or played it really nicely, or make it ceremonious in some way. And then when you have it, fully savor it. Like, don't multitask, don't rush, be in the moment and truly enjoy it. I promise you, it will just exponentially increase your level of satisfaction and joy. So, what we're doing here by practicing this kind of planning in advance, you're learning to enjoy pleasure without the guilt. You're training your brain to associate treat with joy and that you're in control. So, being in control actually equates to joy and to pleasure and not to shame. So, you build self-trust with yourself this way so that you're not being punitive or restrictive by saying no, you can't have anything. You're actually doing it intentionally, and with your best interest at heart, and something that actually can feel fun and not feel restrictive. So I just want to remind you that you don't need to give up the things that you love. You just need to stop letting them happen by accident. When you can plan for this indulgence, it becomes like a conscious choice. It's a luxury, it's a treat. It's not a guilty kind of secret that you're hiding from anyone or that you need to be shameful about. And it's not about eating less for joy, it's about having more of it in a way that feels aligned, that feels right, that feels like you've got your own back, and that's in line with your health goals and your overall well-being. And if I can, I just want to remind you that this whole health journey, it truly is an inner game. It's about understanding, yes, how our body works, but also how our mind works, and let learning to lead yourself with intention. So, I hope this episode gives you a few insights to help you manage your mind so that it doesn't manage you. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.